Karibu tena mtazamaji, unatazama Kivumbi cha mwaka 2017. Papa hapa ndipo unapata taarifa za kina na tendeti kuhusiana na uchaguzi mkuu ambao utakuwa ukifanyika katika muda mfupi ujao. Katika saa kadhaa zijazo utakuwa ukiingia debeni kwa uchaguzi mkuu. Lakini unapoingia katika uchaguzi mkuu, matayarisho yako vipi? Ni watu wangapi ambao watakuwa wakishiriki uchaguzi huu? Tuangalie usajili wa kura. Kufikia sasa unathibitisha kuwa ni watu wangapi ambao wamesajiliwa kufikia sasa, ambapo kulingana na takwimu za IEBC takriban watu milioni 19.6 ndio wamesajiliwa kushiriki uchaguzi wa mwaka 2017. Tunaona idadi ya vituo vya kupigia kura imeongezwa kulingana na ile sheria mpya ambayo imepitishwa kwamba kituo hakistahili kuwa na zaidi ya watu 700 ikilinganishwa na awali ambapo tumeshuhudia foleni ndefu takriban vituo 40,883 ndipo sasa vitakuwa vikitumika kwa uchaguzi mkuu. Na pia IEBC imesema kuwa haiwezi kuwa na zaidi ya watu 700 na watu wanaopungua 500 katika kila kituo. Na tunaona kwamba vituo vya kujumlisha kura, yani vile tunasema tallying centers, kuna tallying centers 338 ambazo zitatumiwa katika kujumlisha matokeo ya kura. Mtazamaji, kuna majina mawili ambayo yamekuwa yakisikika sana: returning officer, presiding officer. Je, tofauti ya maafisa hao wawili ni nini hasa? Tunaona presiding officer ni yule afisa ambaye atakuwa akisimamia kituo cha kupigia kura. Kwa hivyo iwapo unaingia katika kituo fulani cha kura, utakuwa ukimpata yule presiding officer, ndiye afisa ambaye anasimamia uchaguzi katika kituo hicho. Pia kuna afisa mwingine ambaye tumesikia sana, returning officer. Je, returning officer ni nani? Tunapoangalia tunaona returning officer ni afisa ambaye anasimamia vituo vya kujumlisha kura. Mahali ambapo kura itakuwa ikitangazwa tujue mshindi ni nani, ni katika tallying center ambayo itasimamiwa na returning officer. Kwa hivyo sasa umejua tofauti. Na katika uchaguzi huu mtazamaji, sawa na mwaka 2013, kuna nafasi 8 ambazo tutakuwa tukipigia kura. Na nafasi hizo ni pamoja na rais, nafasi ya urais, nafasi ya ugavana, nafasi ya useneta, nafasi ya ubunge, nafasi ya mwakilishi wa kike na nafasi ya mwakilishi wa wadi. Hizo ndizo nafasi 6 ambazo zitakuwa zikipigiwa kura. Na pale mwenyekiti wa IEBC Chebukati amesisitiza kwamba utakapopewa kijikaratasi cha kura uhakikishe kwamba kimewekwa mhuri kule nyuma ili kura yako kukamilika. Mtazamaji, ndivyo hali ilivyo katika matayarisho ya uchaguzi. Na sisi hapa tunatupia jicho hali ilivyo katika maeneo yote ya nchi, katika kaunti zote nchini, kuhakikisha kwamba unapata yale maelezo ambayo yanahitajika kuhusiana na uchaguzi mkuu. Na ndipo sasa tunakuuliza wewe binafsi, unajitayarisha vipi kwa uchaguzi mkuu? Umejitayarisha vipi? Kwa tayari kupiga kura? Na mitandaoni mnasemaje kuhusiana na matayarisho ya kura? Mtazamaji, sisi hapa tunaangazia kile ambacho kinafanyika katika mitandao ya kijamii, katika rununu, kupitia mbinu zote kuhakikisha kwamba tunaangazia maoni yako kuhusu uchaguzi huu ukitumia hashtag Kivumbi 2017. Joy Doreen Bira yuko mitandaoni. Joy, kufikia sasa wenyeji wanasemaje?
Well, thanks a lot, Zubeida. And yes, indeed, we are keeping tabs with what's happening online. And quite a number of people are actually talking about what exactly people are saying about the election in 2017. And let's take a look here. We have Nyokabi Njeri Mburu, who is saying it's nauseating that bloggers who purport to be the voices of truth and justice in Kenya are overly misogynistic. Let's now cross over to that presser or press conference that the President Uhuru Kenyatta actually said he would be speaking at.
Season draws to a close. I am reminded of something my father once said. It is also something that I personally have been thinking about for many weeks now and throughout this campaign. And as I consider what God has planned for me and indeed for our great nation in the future, my father did once say, our children may learn about the heroes of the past, but our task is to make ourselves the architects of the future. Well, indeed, my father and those who work closely with him to liberate our country are indeed my heroes. I often think about what they would say about the last 4 years of my presidency, whether they would be proud of what I have done, and what advice they would have given to me. But what I know, without any doubt, is that they would be proud of their country and us as its people. Our forefathers would be proud of the progress we have made together, of the resilience and strength that we have shown as the Kenyan people when faced with hardship and adversity, and even when confronted by the very face of evil itself. Because that, ultimately, is the spirit of the Kenyan people. I am thoroughly encouraged by the resilience of our people. We don't run away from challenges. Instead, we embrace them together. Our history as a nation is defined by our ability, time and time again, to unite and achieve the impossible. Not to simply complain from the sidelines. Our forefathers understood that all too well. And that same Kenyan spirit is as alive today as it was during the struggle for our independence. I also think about whether I live up to their call that we serve as architects of the future. I have spoken many times during the last few months about how I have worked hard, day and night, over the last 4 years to lay the foundation for building a strong and prosperous Kenya. But the truth is, we have worked together as a people to lay that foundation. Every single Kenyan has played his or her role as an architect of our future. We have young entrepreneurs carving out our nation's new job-creating 21st century economy. We have mothers battling the effects of drought to continue to put food on their families' tables. And we have builders forging thousands of miles of roads, railway, and electricity to connect brother to brother, sister to sister, mother to son, farmer to market, and business to consumer. I know that many Kenyans are still struggling, and we have much more work to do. But I am encouraged to see the spirit of the Kenyan people every day. The spirit of architects laying the foundation for our nation's future prosperity across every corner of our country. I know our forefathers would be proud of all of us as their children. It is indeed this spirit that I want all of us to reflect on as the national general election campaign comes to a close. Because the job of an architect also comes with enormous responsibility. Each and every one of us is charged by God and by the legacy of every great Kenyan who has lived before us to care for one another, to love one another, to always consider the consequences for the future over the passions and ambitions of the present. If our fathers were here today, sitting next to us, I am certain that they would urge every Kenyan to do what I am about to implore. We are all Kenyans. Our mothers and fathers all struggled so that we would all have a better Kenya and a better future. They gave us the greatest gift any son or daughter could ask for. They gave us a home, they gave us our beautiful nation. They were the architects of our future, and that stewardship of trust has now passed on to us. We must not, and I repeat, we must not disappoint them. No matter the result of this election, we must stand together as one people. Above all, we must reject intimidation. We must reject violence or any attempt to divide us. Kenya is the only home we have. It is the only home we know. Our children look to us to show them the way, to pass to them a country that is in a better state than that was left to us. We must not disappoint the founders of this nation, and equally, we must not betray our children. My final thought is this. As we look to the future, I am confident that brighter, happier, more prosperous and peaceful days lie ahead for all Kenyans. I see a future where everyone can share in the wealth and prosperity of a modern 21st century nation. A nation where everyone has access to a good job, where everyone can afford to have a decent meal, and where every child is guaranteed a quality, free education, so that the place where you were born will never determine the quality of life. A nation where mothers and their babies can lead a healthy and happy life, where you can travel from one corner of our country to the other in hours, not weeks. And a nation where every family feels its life is safe and its property is secure. Fellow Kenyans, better days lie ahead. Yes, we have more work to do. But as Kenyans, as architects of the future, we can all be proud that we have made progress in laying the foundation for building a great nation, a stronger, safer, and prosperous country for all Kenyan citizens. I believe our founding fathers are proud of us all. As I conclude, mine is to ask every single eligible citizen to turn out tomorrow in great numbers, do that which our democracy entitles you to do, vote for the candidates of your choice. But my plea is that as we do so, let us do so in peace. Remembering, as I said yesterday, that after you cast your ballot, please go home. Go back to your neighbor, regardless of where he or she comes from, their tribe, their color, their religion. Your neighbor is your brother. Your neighbor is your sister. How you have voted should not in any way reflect or change the manner in which you have related to your neighbor. Shake their hand, share a meal, and tell them. Let us wait for the result. For Kenya will be here long after this general election. May God give us peace. May God give us tranquility. And may God protect this great country and her people in the future. I thank you.
Well, there is President Uhuru Kenyatta and the incumbent, of course, during this 2017 election. And this could be probably his last speech before we go to the polls. That is tomorrow. And one of the key things he has put out there is that we need to reject intimidation or any attempt to divide us as a country. It's the only home that we have, that is Kenya. And he actually is urging us to let our children look at us, to pass on a better home than they actually left us with. That is a message that he's putting across. And then, of course, he talks about his final thoughts that are he is confident that we are having a brighter, happier and peaceful future in the country. And he's urging all Kenyans to go and vote regardless of the tribe, color and religion of the people that we are voting for. And of course, he wound up by saying how we voted should not change the manner in which we relate to our neighbors, among his final remarks there. And of course, him having put out this issue comes at a time where Kenyans are just hours away from casting the ballots. That's going to be tomorrow. And well, let's take a look at what some of you are saying online here. A lot has been said by the Communications Authority and the IEBC as well on the role that bloggers are playing online and shaping the opinions of people online. The Bloggers Association of Kenya has come out and tweeted that bloggers are shaping opinions and perceptions as well as attitudes in the society. And so there are quite a number of things that are being said online. NASA bloggers and microbloggers laying foundations for what we are calling violence in Kenya by creating fear, just like in 2013. But these are opinions that are coming out, and we are trying as much as possible to make sure that people are exercising responsible blogging online. Corridors of Power is saying there's a split in the Orange House, and we also have one coming in from Charles Wafula, who is saying popular bloggers in Kenya running high traffic websites. The problem is they have a poor command of English, thus churning badly written articles. And we also have one coming through here from Madao, who is saying bloggers here in Kenya will spread hatred when violence breaks. They will comfortably spread location of happening in their bedsitters. And there we go. Y'all, Jubilee and NASA bloggers, we all know who is funding you. Kenya is bigger than y'all. Stop thriving in hate mongering. That is quite a discussion that we are going to have. Now, we have a number of opinions coming through from bloggers themselves. We will be having those opinions air shortly, but we are also looking at what else you are saying. We've had a number of opinions coming through from Uganda as well. Uganda held its election in 2016, and there were quite a number of opinions that came through online, including fake news. And so we're looking at the opinions and how this is likely to shape for the better what we are seeing being said online. Now, Irene Tujadili saying fake news to fake documents released by mainstream media and bloggers. Kenya leads in election-related misinformation, but keep those opinions of yours coming through. We'd now like to cross over to Mirimi Mwangi so he can give us an update on where he is and what exactly is happening there in preparation for the elections that begin 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Well, good evening. Here at Kirinyaga County, the final preparations for the elections to be held tomorrow. And as you can see, a majority of the presiding officers have picked their material from here, this being the county tallying center at Kerugoya town, and a majority of them heading to their vehicles that you can see in the background. Quite a number of them, given that there are over 600 polling stations here in Kirinyaga County. Back to you, Insusira.
All right, and that is Murimi Mwangi, who is in Kirinyaga County. He's going to be giving us all the updates. If I just might take a look at one more tweet here, coming in from Mandere Ondieki, who is saying the worst characters in Kenya's social media are our bloggers, food soldiers who follow money as opposed to the real issues close to us. Those are some of the views coming through. Now, crossover to Zubeida. who is on the other side of the studio to take us through what she has. Zubeida.
Naam, shukran sana Joy. Unaweza kuwasiliana na Joy kupitia mitandao ya kijamii, utueleze hisia zako ni zipi. Unaweza pia kutufikia kupitia @KTN News. Mimi binafsi unaweza kunifikia kupitia @Zubeida Kananu. Tueleze maoni yako na hisia zako ni zipi kuhusiana na matayarisho ya uchaguzi huu. Tunachukua mapumziko mafupi kisha tutarejea na mengi zaidi. Tumekuandalia taarifa tendeti ambazo utakuwa ukizipokea muda usio kwa mrefu. Usiende mbali.